boxing him in.
The routes that these suspects choose to take, a lot of times they like to be in an area that they're familiar with. But here, Rick, I'd say that it doesn't seem that this suspect is familiar with this neighborhood.
But here we go.
Go?
Maybe trying to block him in.
Yeah.
He's going to, whoa, he almost let him through. Skimmed that box truck there. A lot of people on the corner, they're out to watch this. But that is exactly what I was talking about before we saw this. Looking at the freeway system there, the 60, the 605 freeway, through the City of Industry, through Whittier, near Rose Hills, there aren't any outlets in this residential area here. And this driver being pursued here by the LA County Sheriff's Department, picking up speeds here, was not able to make their way out. Yeah, looks like we're going to right here.
Not a lot of room. Not a lot of room.
Not a lot of room. And we saw the pedestrians out there as well. Here he goes, maybe giving it a try.
Yeah, a lot of cars nearby. Pretty narrow road there.
Yeah,
this would be an odd choice of places to do it.
Exactly what I was going to say. This just doesn't seem like this fits the mold for when to do a pit maneuver and when not. But he is going to.
Yeah, there he goes.
Wow.
Boom!
All those other cars.
Not good if you're not the other driver there.
Here we go, boxing him in, and now this is a dangerous situation, facing the suspect there. Is he still armed? Did he throw those two firearms out? Is he giving up?
Is he going to go in reverse? Can he go in reverse?
Sheriff's Department, guns drawn, giving him or her direct commands here, and it appears we can see his hands, but what they're going to ask he or she to do is put their hands outside the window or open up that driver's side door. He's boxed in. Sheriff's deputies surrounding him at this point. So we'll see if this will come to an end. But yeah, that pit maneuver, we haven't seen that often in that type of location, Marla and Alex, where there is indeed so many vehicles out there. And we saw the pedestrians there as well. Pioneer Boulevard and Bryan Court, that is our location. Our Extreme Nav system is picking up in the community of Whittier.
They clearly made the decision that they were ready for this thing to end, regardless of what kind of damage it would do to some of those cars that are parked on the street there. Thankfully, no pedestrians or anybody injured in all of this. And now this driver's got a decision to make. Clearly, this person is out of options, and messing around in this scenario when you have that many members of law enforcement with guns pointed right at you is not the smartest thing. There is one thing to do if you're this person, which is put your hands up and get out of that vehicle and listen to everything they say. They are loudly shouting commands at this person. The question is, will this person listen?
And as far as we can see, it appears that the suspect's hands are remaining on that steering wheel.
And what I'm looking at, too, Marla and Alex, that appeared, even when during the pursuit, when it was moving, that the windshield there on the driver's side, I'm not sure if that's just something up on the dash or that is some sort of damage there. And I was noting that the adjacent rear view mirror, door open, is dangling, and it is indeed. So he may have been in contact with something.
And we'll see if there's also other people in the car as well. It's hard to get a sense with the tinted windows if there are other people. Obviously, a lot of people could fit in that car. So still taking a while to get out with that door open.
And the tactics here in terms of how they position these deputies, because crossfire is a huge problem when you have a situation like this. Are there deputies behind this vehicle? Sure, in their vehicles, guns drawn. Likely in a way, though, that they're not going to get into a crossfire with the deputies in front of them. Because, again, we don't know. We just have to assume that this suspect could be armed, even though we heard that there was a possibility, as you reported, Alex and Marla, that he may have thrown some firearms outside the window during the pursuit.
That's according to CHP. He said the suspect possibly threw 2 firearms along the way. Again, this started in the City of Industry. Here we are at Pioneer Boulevard and Bryan Court in Whittier, where this has come to an end, where that pit maneuver was successful enough to stop the vehicle. Now it's just a matter of getting the suspect to comply with these officers' commands and exit that SUV and get out. And we'll find out, Alex just brought this up, if there are more people inside there. It's certainly big enough, and so it's just a matter of time.
That suspect seems to be clearly communicating with law enforcement
not doing
and
what
talking,
they're told.
but with the hands firmly placed on the steering wheel, And now we see a hand going down back on the steering wheel. As we zoom in close, it certainly looks like a male there, and you see those hands on the steering wheel. Unclear why this person is not complying with the commands, but it is taking a while in that position. As we wait for some more action here, we want to show you that pit maneuver from just a few moments ago. You see there a crash into another vehicle that happened to be parked there, and then the vehicle essentially being boxed into this position. No indication that the driver is ready to go in reverse. It doesn't look like they put another law enforcement vehicle behind the driver, so it is, I guess, possible that the driver could go in reverse or at least try to do that. But in the meantime, the guns are pointed, Marla.
Yeah, and they have been ever since that pit maneuver put this vehicle to a stop, and plenty of officers out there. And it does seem as if that driver is communicating with those officers in some way, shape, or form. What they're discussing.
Maybe getting out
Looks like
here.
he's moving.
Walking out,
yep.
hands up. Clearly a male. Now following the
Commands,
supplies.
yep.
You see a laser there pointed right at him in case he doesn't follow compliance.
Facing opposite direction, will be told to get on his hands and knees and then spread out. In most cases, perhaps they're just going to grab him here and apprehend him. No, he's going down.
And if you look at the officer's demeanor, their guns are still drawn as they wait, it seems like, for other people to step out of the SUV.
They seem to certainly
believe that could be.
That there are other people in there.
Male suspect, as we suspected here, in custody now, driving that Chrysler minivan. Initial want was reckless driving. They lit the suspect up. The pursuit was on. And again, according to reports from the California Highway Patrol, which that's when the pursuit was likely on one of these freeways, either the 605 or the 60 near the City of Industry into Whittier, may have thrown at least one, perhaps two firearms outside of his window there.
And that is probably why this situation remains so tense. The fact that they may have already thrown firearms out the window. They may have more firearms back there. Probably don't have great eyes on what's happening in the back seat of this van. Those windows very tinted, a big space there. So you don't know if those people who we presume are still in this vehicle, if they are armed, and why they haven't opened up the door and decided to get out with their hands up and do what the officers there are saying.
Demeanor of officers, demeanor of deputies, as I always say, Alex and Marla, that you watch that and you see a very tense situation, meaning that they have an idea that there may be at least one, perhaps multiple other individuals inside of that minivan there. And we've seen so many brazen acts of robberies and burglaries. There we go. Here comes somebody right now. So yes, indeed, as we saw,
and why
it looks like possibly a female. This looks like a female coming out.
Sweatshirt. It does look like a female trying to get. It looks like into the front seat.
Why they didn't open up the other door is interesting.
Here we go. Yep, female in the back there.
Hands up.
She's trying to figure out what they want her to do.
But she is.
And this is the right protocol. Is back to them, hands up, and then to walk backward.
And typically when it is a female, if at all possible, they will use a female deputy or officer apprehend the other female. That's usually the protocol that I've seen and we've watched from other pursuits that do come to an end like this one. Gun still drawn here. This female suspect number 2 in the back. Yes, a little bit, huh? You're right.
You wonder if this person may be under the influence of anything.
And there's a female deputy, as I said, taking that female suspect into custody. And here we go. We'll see if there's demeanor of the deputies.
Certainly seems like there's somebody else in there.
I think I just saw a little bit of movement there. It looks like, is that? Nope, that's the side of the vehicle there. I thought there was maybe an arm outside of the passenger side. But they're clearly acting as if there could be at least one other individual inside this minivan here. This Chrysler minivan being pursued by the California Highway Patrol and the LA County Sheriff's Department. Those are sheriff's deputies down below, guns drawn here, and it looks like the lead deputy there behind the passenger side door was sort of motioning with his weapon there and giving a command to perhaps another individual inside this van, and they are clearly acting as if that's the case.
If you are just joining us, we have been following this pursuit that has come to a crashing end thanks to a pit maneuver on behalf of LASD here in the city of Whittier. So far, 2 suspects have exited this Chrysler
shield.
minivan.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that looks good eyes.
They're going to approach and try to. They're over this and want to get this guy out.
They've been aggressive. I mean, given the pit maneuver that it was done on this very narrow street.
Here we go.
Okay.
He's grabbing somebody.
Grabbing somebody.
You wonder why they didn't open this other door.
Yeah,
Everybody's
Maybe it's
sliding,
jammed.
sliding
It could
door
be
on the
jammed.
side. But it looks like they have a hold on somebody. Unclear if it's another female or a male. Bringing that individual out.
Not easily either.
No. So there's number 3. We have the driver
And
taken into custody
They got a
first.
flashlight trying to look in the window, see if there's a number 4.
Yeah.
So this person's on the floor.
Yep, on the asphalt of the road there. Again,
They're literally dragging this person away.
that looks like another male, perhaps.
Yeah.
So 2 males, a female in custody. Pants down? Look like perhaps?
Yeah.
And now, speaking of the demeanor of the deputies, Rick,
Changed.
it looks like, looks like they think that they've gotten everybody. They will now approach the vehicle entirely as are they carrying the suspects?
See, his pants are down.
Carrying a suspect, not a lot of shame. Not the best moment for this individual.
No.
Who's now going to probably spend time behind bars.
And Marla, you said it. They were very aggressive throughout the end of this pursuit here. That pit maneuver in itself, where they conducted it, the pursuit intervention technique, PIT being the acronym for that, on this busy, relatively narrow residential street with cars parked on both sides, and spinning that Chrysler minivan with 3 individuals to the side, badly damaging 1 car, perhaps a couple of cars hit by that pursuit. Termination